why should Philly not be working with ICE?
I think the way that they've handled what they're doing is it's not appropriate, it's not safe, and it's hurting everybody involved. It's not just hurting who they claim to be hurting, being illegal immigrants. It's hurting citizens and basically everyday people that they claim not to target. Like, I could point out so many things, like the guy who was shot for holding a cell phone, the woman who was shot in her car and then her car was just left to drive away.
Right.
The woman who was thrown under a car recently. I don't remember where that was, but
You guys, my question is, because I hear this a lot, those two ones that you were talking about were in Minneapolis, where activists were basically clashing with federal officers for a month straight. For me personally, I'm not surprised something bad ended up happening. That happens. But when it comes down to it, a lot of comparisons that I make is like to police officers. Could you make the same argument about local police, or do you?
if Renee Good was in her car and a local cop shot her just for being in her car and they claimed she was using it as a weapon, I'd still be mad about it.
Right. No, incredibly reasonable, except for she drove forward with an officer in front of the vehicle. Look, I'm not saying that's a great thing, but generally speaking, it's a bad idea to drive forward with an officer in front of your vehicle. Would you agree or disagree?
I don't agree that she should have kept driving, but I also don't agree that she should have gotten shot for it.
Yeah, but this is one thing that you can get shot by an officer doing. Like, would you ever recommend anybody do that? And then if the answer is no, probably because something bad can happen. Would you agree with that or no?
I'd agree that something bad can happen. I just don't agree that what happened was necessary.
Okay.
Or humane.
Okay.
Who are you with?
James Klug on YouTube. So I just have conversations. We take it pretty easy. I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. When it comes down to, you see these things happening, you're not satisfied, you're not happy after seeing those. What do you want to see? What is your demand? Should ICE cease to exist, or you just want to see them get it together a little bit? I mean, what is your position?
I'd like to see them get it together.
Okay.
I'd like to see it be dealt with in a positive way. I'd like to see people stop dying in the streets. I'd like to see people stop being ripped away from their families.
Well, how do you arrest somebody and deport them in a positive way? Could you describe that?
Question them. Ask for paperwork. Don't just arrest them and then strip them away from their families. Don't tell anyone where they're going. The amount of families who have no idea where their family members have gone. The amount of people who finally get out of these facilities and have insanely horrible stories. People are comparing them to...
You're saying they're not questioning them or anything?
Not before arresting them.
Well, some of them are targeted, right? So you do find people, like, let's say police officers, there's a wanted man or something, they have their system that says this guy is to be arrested. And in this case, they have their intelligence that has people on those lists that say this person's in the country without permission. Maybe they're a gangbanger from El Salvador or something, So then they go in.
Gangbangers from New York.
I'm sorry?
There are gangbangers from New York. There are gangbangers from Philadelphia.
Well, I understand. What does that have to do with what I'm saying there?
I'm saying there are people who are from out of the country who are criminals, but there's also hundreds of thousands in the country who are from the country that are criminals. Right. And I feel like
that doesn't really have much to do with immigration enforcement, though, does it?
I'm done with this conversation. Oh. You're willing to take over if you'd like.
No, genuine question. I mean, because we have, respectfully, I don't want to get you upset here. We do have police officers, we have DEA, we have FBI that deals with those issues. ICE's job is to enforce immigration law, so that's why they do that. So we can say, oh, well, this happens over here. Okay, but that's ICE's job is enforcing immigration law. You know what I mean? What do you think? Yeah, weigh in.
When it's someone, yes, who is here legally, who has a criminal history, who has done bad things, absolutely, they should be. But that doesn't mean we should go about in a harmful way. If we can approach things peacefully and nicely, when we arrest someone who is illegal, that doesn't mean we need to be shoving them to the ground. People who have been here since they were an infant, but this is all they've ever known.
No, I see what you're saying.
Shouldn't take them away. We have due process in this country. They should get due process. We shouldn't treat them in these horrible detention centers. We should say, stay at home while we get you through this process. If you need to leave the country, we will help you peacefully assist with that. But otherwise, you can stay here. We shouldn't have to force people out in such a horrible, horrible way.
Yeah, I mean, people leave voluntarily without resisting arrest, without some scene being created every single day, all day long. What you guys are talking about are the viral clips that you'll see where there's people clashing with agents in the street. Maybe it's aggressive, but oftentimes, arrests really aren't the prettiest thing, to be honest with you. If we saw some guy resisting arrest or getting arrested over here, are we looking at it thinking to ourselves, wow, that's really peaceful and amazing? Probably not. I know I don't. I see it and say, ooh, that's kind of intense. This is pretty extreme. But in this case, okay, so they're arresting somebody for being in the country without permission. They've had their due process. They have been given a deportation order. They're being arrested. They resist arrest. What do you guys want the officers to do? How can they do it nicer?
Nice.
You know what
I mean, not.
Like party poppers, maybe.
I think nice would just simply be. It's a tough issue to just.
I mean, they're
describe.
given $2,500 to leave the country. When they are here, they're given free housing from the taxpayers, health care, food. It seems as though we have the nicest immigration system on the face of the earth. We're even paying people to leave and giving them a free flight. You disagree, ma'am?
I'm not answering anymore.
Is that reasonable, though? I mean, there's other countries that'll put you on a catapult and toss you over the border. I mean,
I'm not answering any more questions.
no worries. Okay.
The situation we
She's
have
done.
here, I definitely don't think what we do is what you call nice. I mean, alligator Alcatraz, I wouldn't call that nice. I'd call that horrific. But
Alcatraz,
sure,
you're
you
saying?
alligator Alcatraz. You
Oh,
can
I'm
call it all
sorry.
you want. You
Alligator.
can call it nice. Oh yeah, we handle the money. That's not humane. That's horrific. We need to treat these people respectfully, as they're human beings. We all share the same world.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they should be treated like animals.
Yeah. I guess I would maybe where we're not seeing eye to eye on there is you're saying they're treated so inhumanely, and I'm thinking, well, there's thousands of arrests a day. You're probably only seeing the worst from all the negative news coverage. There are arrests that aren't that way, and that's the overwhelming majority, not inhumane. So maybe I would just reject the premise of it's so inhumane the arrests that are being made. Sorry, it's super loud. But that's probably where we're disagreeing there. Do you think the overwhelming majority of arrests look the way you're saying they look?
I want to say somewhat yes.
So they're battling with agents and people are getting thrown to the ground. And
Yes. Obviously, social media allows us to see what we normally won't see in the daily. Obviously, there's going to be arrests that are peaceful, but oftentimes what we see on social media, it's very possible that is exactly what is happening. Because, admittedly, we are white. We're not going to experience that kind of, horrific punishment. Admittedly, we have white
But you
privilege.
guys are American citizens.
We're American citizens, yes.
Probably, I'm guessing.
So we wouldn't experience that. While we have people who are from other countries, who are getting profiled, who are being treated horrifically. And obviously,
There's that horrifically again. I guess I see it. I think it's literally the kindest thing that we can do is spend tens of thousands of dollars per person, by the way, on all sorts of benefits that these people come here, and they actually enter the country illegally without permission, and we're paying for all that stuff anyways, and then we pay them to leave. I can't think of a more, if anything, it's more absurd how many benefits people get for breaking our laws.
There's a lot more money that needs to be spent on other things, I agree, but put it like this, that is such a small percentage where we have money being spent on things that we absolutely do not need to be spending an insane amount. Let's look at Trump's White House.
You and I are going to agree on much of this.
What he is doing with the White House right now, he does not need to be spending that money. What?
Don't make it worse.
We need to leave,
You
unfortunately.
guys need to leave.
Um,
Well, I do appreciate you spending the time to speak with me, and I think it's an important conversation to have. Something for
I
us to...
respect your opinion. I appreciate you having an open conversation, but we need to go.
Of course.